Hey guys, welcome to the Home Improvement Show. Todd's World, and I am, coincidentally, Todd. See from my sweatshirt here, Insurrection. You know what this is? I wrote a book, Insurrection, American Revolution. There's actually 2 seasons. You can get it on Amazon right now under Todd Allen. It's also available at Todd's World. We did audio podcast of both the first 2 seasons of Insurrection and the first season of Witness, and both of those are currently available wherever you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple, whatever you want to do. So, but the book's great. Grab the book if you want. In fact, I've got another book out. My latest book, 9 Mile Point. Again, available on Amazon. Great read. You know, take a break from your projects. It's kind of a supernatural horror type mystery thing. So, yeah, it's a great read. Anyway, and if you don't listen to our other shows, you should. We drop 3 shows a week. This is one. Thank you for listening. And this is kind of, we do the Wildly Opinionated News Hour, which is more news and politics. And then we also do Beers with Jesus. So we drop Wildly Opinionated News Hour on Tuesdays. Carrie joins me for that, and Carrie joins me for Beers with Jesus, where we explore and walk through the story of Jesus. We're not preaching. We have a few beers. We read through a certain passage. Right now we're going through Acts, which is the Acts of the Disciples. So, you know what? You'll find them on these same stations. I'm starting to put all the podcasts. I'll put the full podcast on Facebook for all the shows. I put the full podcast on Twitter, in addition to clips. So the clips, generally, I put like in the comments where you can find the full podcast. So hopefully you're enjoying it. And hopefully you're exploring more than just the Home Improvement Show. So we do politics in News Hour. We do religion in Beers with Jesus. And everything else in the Home Improvement Show. So, you guys don't mind if I take a break to drink, do you? A little bit of beer in the old beer stein here. More of a Pilsner. It's one of those ones that says it's like been in Germany since like the 1400s. But I don't know, it's pretty good. I am not the stuck-up craft beer guy. I like craft beers, go to breweries all the time. My daughter, Lauren Allen, in fact, I should tell you this, singer-songwriter. If you get on Spotify, you get on YouTube, you get on whatever. Of course, look up Todd's World and find that. But look up my daughter, Lauren Allen. She just released a new single this week called Bad News. Country. She's kind of a country singer-songwriter. Great song. Music video is either out or it should be coming out soon. So, again, if you get on my Facebook at Todd Allen, if you get on my Instagram at Todd Allen, Todd's World 2023, I think, is Twitter. Same thing for YouTube. We're on Rumble. All of them. And on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, I'll share Lauren's stuff. So you can easily find it. And you should listen to it. She's great. She will be a superstar in no time. So anyway, enjoy that if you haven't. It's finally starting to warm up here in Michigan. I'm seeing people now. We're finally getting out. I mean, it's been cold. We're in April. What is it? It's like, I don't know, April 12th, 13th, 11th. I don't know what it is. Anyway, the point is, I think it's April 11th. And people are out finally, they're out working in the yards doing whatever. But man, it's been like 30 degrees here, which that's cold. Even for Michigan in April, that's cold. And it's just like, oh, you can't, when you get into lawn stuff, your lawn treatments and stuff, I think for the most part that you like to wait for the soil to heat up to like 50 degrees, I think is what they say. I know in Michigan we have a flowering bush that will take off with yellow flowers all over it. It's called a forsythia. Probably they have them all over. But that in Michigan is a sign, hey, the soil's warm enough. It's time to put your weed and feed down, get to work on your lawn, everything else. You know what you got? You got to dethatch it. Is that right? Dude, I'm the worst lawn care person. I'm convinced that you can't have a good lawn without underground sprinkling. And I got woods on 2 sides. I don't have underground sprinkling. I have moles Oh my God, the moles that I have. And I paid a mole service one year, and I swear to God, they must have killed 800 moles, and they were back just as strong the next year. So I don't know. I don't know what, maybe if I got underground sprinkling, people say that it kind of condenses the soil a little bit, keeps a little more moist. Maybe that would help. I don't know. But point is, if you don't, in my opinion, but now most people, you're getting into a new home, whatever, you're in a subdivision, usually you've got underground sprinkling, and you can get a really nice lawn out of it. Put some weed and feed down, hopefully that looks close. My whole system just crashed out on me for no reason. Sorry, guys. You would think with all the podcasts I do every week, I could quasi get my shit together, but it seems to be a struggle. Anyway, we were talking about lawn stuff. So you got your 4-step weed and feed stuff, whatever. And I think, you know what, if people follow it and they follow the instructions, and you keep it watered, you can get a really beautiful lawn. And I'm always impressed, because I told you I don't have a good lawn. I'm always so impressed with people who keep a nice lawn. It does seem like a lot of work to me, but just like, man, gorgeous. There's nothing like a beautiful lawn to step out on. And it's also, it's gardening time of year too. So people, you get your beer, whatever, you go out, start weeding for the day, start raking, there's just, you got a decent sized lawn, and then you've got some landscaping to keep up with, and you got maybe you like to do a vegetable garden too. There's so many, there's just so much work, and it's all real rewarding. It's all fun, because a lot of us don't necessarily, we're not doing manual labor, we're not outside all day working, and it's nice to kind of get outside, work in the garden. You got a beautiful Saturday, go mow the lawn, do whatever. It's just nice to get out and work. And you can tell, especially up here in Michigan, now we're coming off like what feels like a 6-month winter, and people are just, they can't wait to get out, get things nice, get things looking good, get the landscaping spruced up, because you got to get all the mulch, remove the old mulch, or at least add to it, whatever. Get all the weeds pulled up. It's just, it's a lot to keep up with. A home in general can be a lot to keep up with. You guys know that. Part of why we're doing this. Talk about some of these types of things. If you got a sidewalk, you got to edge it every so often, or it starts growing in. There's just constant maintenance type work to do. We're doing something right now for somebody where we're pulling the gutters off, and gutters are something people don't think about. You got to keep your gutters clean, because otherwise they'll overflow. But if you have a house that doesn't have them, a lot of times houses that don't have gutters have significant drainage issues, because what happens is you take all that water, sheeting off the roof, and you're dumping it basically right next to your foundation. Now, if you're in really well drained soil, you got sand, or you got whatever, maybe you got footing drains around, and they're going off somewhere, preferably other than a sump pump, gravity feeding somewhere so it can just get rid of the water, it may not be the end of the world. It's still going to cut into your lawn or your landscaping or whatever. With gutters, especially these nice new seamless gutters that they've got out there, because you can get them in all kinds of different colors. The guys that do them usually have them right on trailers, so they pull right up to your house and get whatever color you want, and it's seamless. So they're making them right there. They're extracting the aluminum into whatever size gutter they need and mounting it. We're replacing a bunch of soffit and fascia, so it's the old wood soffit and fascia on a house, and we're putting new aluminum soffit and fascia up, which is we did this project a couple years ago on the front, built a porch, did the whole thing, and now we're kind of doing some more of the rest of the house for them. It does update it so nice. It's amazing how one thing like that, like if you've got old wood soffit and fascia on your house, and you just upgrade it to aluminum soffit and fascia, and nice, they're doing like a desert tan, but there's so many different colors out there of that stuff too, and they can match your gutters to whatever. It's amazing how much it updates your house. Just something simple like that. So, and it can significantly help if you're having problems, if you got a basement and you're having problems, some water problems, even if it's intermittent, even if you're just getting cracks that it's leaking through or whatever. If you don't have gutters, the first thing you really should try is putting gutters up, because that can take care of a lot of problems on home. So it's we're having to pull them off right now to put the new soffit and fascia back on and then put them back up, and we're not going to ruin them or anything. I'm not a gutter guy, but the guys who are out there who do it, they do it fast, and they do a good job, and it's not, I don't think it's horribly expensive. really, compared. So gutters are just a huge thing. But so anyway, we're finally getting into spring up here. It's time you can get the siding. You can get your vinyl siding power washed if you haven't had time to yet. There's guys who will spray a soap on first. A lot of the power washers will have a tank that'll mix it up, and you can spray on the soap first. Then you can power wash off the algae or whatever, and it just makes your house look so bright. Speaking of the soffit fascia, just power washing stuff, power washing siding, power washing your soffit fascia, your window frames, the whole thing, and then of course cleaning your windows. It's amazing. It'll look like a new house. And of course, if you don't have time, maybe you don't have a power washer, maybe your house is a 2-story, you don't want to get up on the ladders, guys, it'll do that too. And they're good at it, man. They're fast. When you need them to come out, and they'll power wash your whole house in a day, power wash your deck in a day. Now, a deck is it's a different deal. They've got so many composite decks now, and so of course those can be just power washed off and they're basically good as new. That's not the case with the treated wood decks, which are significantly less expensive. To do a treated wood deck, now this is the material, but just the decking material is probably 3 or 4 times less, or it's 3 or 4 times more to go to the composite. Now, you don't ever have to stain it, and it always looks beautiful. So listen, I'm not saying it's not worth it. Especially, I can't stand staining railings and balusters. God, it takes forever. It's one thing to stain like a flat wood deck. That's not so bad. But man, you get all those railings and balusters, it's a lot of work. But that's the other thing you got to do, is if you don't want to spend the money on a composite deck, then you spend the money on stain. And keep it looking nice, keep the water damage off. And a treated wood deck, I mean, I've seen treated wood decks out there the last 25, 30 years fairly easily if they were built well and were built right. So that's another thing, that staining decks, that we're doing all kinds of things this time of year, and it's just part of home ownership, part of home improvement. Maybe if you're living in a subdivision, you got neighbors real close, it's like a little competition between you and your neighbors. Like, they cut their lawn and you're like, oh god, now my lawn looks high, I gotta go cut it. I've never lived in a subdivision right next to somebody where I had to pay attention to that line, pay close attention. They got so many new mowers out now too, it's amazing. And maybe these electric mowers are starting to get there. I don't really know. I'm skeptical of everything, your electric cars, your electric mowers, all this stuff. But I don't know, you see some of this stuff and they're awfully quiet. Sometimes I think when I'm out there with the gas mower, man, it'd be nice just to have like silence. I wouldn't have to have these big old things in order to hear anything while I'm doing it. I could just have AirPods in and I'm outside. And, that would be nice. So maybe the batteries are getting to the point. I'm seeing more and more electric mowers out there, and where they're using the batteries that they use in weed whackers and other things. And I'm thinking, well, they're probably coming along to the point where, they'll run for 60 minutes. Pretty good out of a battery. If you got 2 batteries, you got an easy, depends on the size of your lawn. But, and obviously if you're doing riding mowers and stuff like that, you got to have some power. But, I don't know. A lot going on out there. I don't know what you guys are feeling like. I enjoy just getting outside when it's nice out, and I don't even have to be doing anything. Just sitting on the deck, sitting on a porch. One thing that we do a fair amount of is we'll do home additions, or we'll do decks for people. Usually we're doing it as part of something else. We'll do a home addition and a deck or whatever. Maybe we'll do a covered porch. Covered porches are gorgeous. I have a covered porch. I just love sitting out on the covered porch. Things change. Used to be everybody'd sit out on the covered porch and you have communities and people would stop by and whatever. Not so much that way anymore. Our lives seem to have, but that doesn't mean it can't be either. So many of the subdivisions today are designed where nobody cares about the front of the house. Everybody wants to be in the back, and so you've got these massive 3-stall garages, and they dominate the entire front of the house, and the curb appeal and everything else. And then everything that matters is looking off the back, and that might be fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Maybe still nice to have a covered porch off the back, at least attached to a deck or something. I love sitting out on a porch under the rain. Not when it's like storming, but you know what I mean, like a nice gentle rain sitting out under the porch. God, I love that. Just sitting there having a beer, a little smoky smoke, maybe smoking a cigar, whatever you're into, whatever kind of smoke you prefer. Maybe no smoke at all. Maybe you prefer a glass of wine. I don't know. Whatever it is. And then the other thing I think is real important that a lot of people don't pay a lot of attention to, maybe they are more now, but is lighting. And see, I'm not a big fan personally of recessed lights outside. I know a lot of people are. It's fine. You do whatever you want. But to me, I kind of like that ambient light. Like I love those porch lights that they put out where they kind of hang down and they got the low watt bulbs and you can wrap them like around the ceiling of a porch or something. Like, oh, so nice. Just love that. Just love setting the mood. Being out there, you're having a conversation with somebody. And anyway, any of that is great. If you don't have that, you want to cover a porch, maybe you want to enclose it, 3 season rooms, even 4 season rooms. Any of that stuff just adds so much. When you're talking actual house design, which I've been working on some this week, and you know what the big thing is that has come in? I've been doing this since, I don't know, at least 95, I think. And so it's been 30 years. I saw a big shift as people moved into big mudrooms and big pantries off the kitchen, like walk-in pantries. And I absolutely love both of them. We're remodeling or getting ready to remodel an old farmhouse. And one of the things they're going to do is turn an entire kind of, what I think was set up to be maybe more of a formal dining room. And that's going to be this massive mudroom with like a butler's pantry, cabinets, the whole thing. And it's going to transform this house. And I just love that. I love pantries in different, the bigger the pantry, the better to some extent. There are times where, you can have it where it's not necessarily walk-in, but it's got some nice glass doors on and it still looks nice. You got all your stuff there, maybe frosted glass so you can't see everything. But wherever you can fit one in there, they're so nice. And mudrooms are just necessary. And I love that more and more home designs are incorporating that. And if you've got an older home, a lot of times we can remodel it to the point where you can get some of those features in there. Maybe you can do small additions here and there, whatever the case. Do some remodeling inside and really radically affect the flow and change the way your entire house feels. Just with a significant update like that. So I don't know. Those, as far as design features, those are things that I think are wildly important. Now we're getting into spring and we're going to head into summer. So now is the time of year where everybody starts to get the itch, and a lot of times they're getting the itch for exterior home projects. You can paint anytime. Of course, it's still a great time to paint. It's one of the better investments into your home, or remodel kitchens or whatever. All of that stuff. Everything is a little easier in better weather. There's no doubt about that. That's life. We work through the winter up here. Most northern climates, you're going to find that they work through the winter regardless. But everything is a little easier when you've got some nice weather, and you're not. It just seems like when you're fighting the cold and the snow, it's just everything's kind of annoying. So enjoy the weather as you guys are out working on your projects, doing whatever. Hey, send in comments too. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. So I welcome any comments. We'll answer any questions. We'll at least talk about them, bounce stuff back and forth. Like I said, this isn't a how-to, but I have plenty of experience. I love pontificating about my own experience. So anyway, I am just happy that you guys are joining me. We'll get this home improvement podcast kind of tightened up to where we know exactly what we're doing, and there really isn't anything. Like I said, we already deal with politics and religion, so this is whatever else is out there, right? We're just kind of talking about it and doing our thing. So anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me this week. We'll throw another one out next week. Go out, enjoy the weather wherever you're at. We've got to have some good weather coming in this weekend, and certainly if you're in the Midwest northern climes, summer's coming. Spring maybe is finally here. How exciting is that? Get out in the sunshine and enjoy it. Join us next week. Pick up the other podcast if you have it. News Hour and Beers with Jesus. And I just want to thank you for joining us. Share it with your friends. Say, hey, this is a fun new podcast I'm listening to on the weekend. as I'm out mowing my lawn with a beer next to me. I hope on a riding mower, that'd be fabulous, right? If you're out there pushing, I don't know. But anyway, all right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week.